Two exciting things happened this Christmas. Number one, I got a wireless charger that doesn't work on my phone. And number two, I finally hit a 10 million roster threat on my roster. Now, if anybody knows anything about threat, it's not that big of a deal because if you have a bad character and he has a high threat, that doesn't really change anything. He's still a bad character. However, in this case, I'm going to make an exception because most of the characters that are high threat, quote unquote, on my team are characters that are actually good, right? And in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys like characters that I love to use, characters that I kind of regret building and stopped building, and most importantly, the eight, I believe it's eight, I'm not entirely sure, the eight teams that I personally use. Most of these teams, I run through them all in Arena. I don't really play too much Champions Arena, and I only have about three good teams for raids. Now, the reason why is because every time I join the league, they beat T6 like in one day. So I only really had a chance to use three teams. Now that I have my own league, I might have to start building up more characters depending on how many people join. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to be showing you guys the teams that I use and the characters that I use. Let's jump into it. Now, the way I build my teams is pretty simple. 50% of the time, I have one OP character and two support characters. And the other 50% of the time, I have one support character and two strong characters. For this team, I have two strong characters and one support character. Now, I call Supergirl, or whatever her name is, Power Girl, a support character, but she's really good on her own. It's just that I just use her passives, really. I don't really tag her in or anything. But the other two characters that are good is Atlantean Armored Aquaman and Predator Batman. Now, Predator Batman is really OP, but I'm going to be honest, I use Atlantean Armored Aquaman more than Predator Batman in this team. And the reason why is because of his special 2 and his passive. His passive and his special 2 work so beautifully together. I love it. His passive is that he basically just heals up his teammates whenever he uses an ability. And his ability 2 is he power drains and he adds hazard dot damage. Now, I feel like it doesn't do as much damage as it should. Because sometimes it'll do like 300 damage and sometimes it'll do like 1,000 damage when I'm fighting an AI. I'm not sure why that is, but I do love it because every single time it power drains enemies and it heals me up. So I am just beating the AI by so much by having those two things. Now, I normally chip the enemy team with his special 2, but occasionally I will drop in Predator Batman for more than just his passive. I will tag in Predator Batman for two reasons: his passive and to generate power. His passive is that he takes away 12% of the enemy team's health 15% every single time that he tags in. So I'll tag him in, I'll get that power, that bar of power, I'll do a combo or something, and then I'll tag in Atlantean Armored Aquaman. However, every once in a while, if I'm just like, dude, let's just screw it, I don't care if the enemy gets power or anything, I'll just use a special one. His special one is super OP. However, just like Aquaman's special 2, I don't feel like it does as much damage as it should half the time. I mean, it's armored pierce. I think, don't quote me, but I think armored pierce means that whatever the damage it tells you it's going to make, that is the minimum amount of damage it could do. And I am 1000% sure that my special one does not do 11,000 damage every single time. It doesn't. Sometimes it'll do 5,000, sometimes it'll do 6,000, 4,000, whatever it is. But either way, I like to use it because overall in this team, special one is probably the most strongest one. It just doesn't add anything other than disable the special abilities of the enemy team. But all the enemy team has to do is either, you know, wait the timer out with them hitting combos on you, or they could just tag in another character. So that's why I don't rely on a special one as much as I rely on Aquaman's special 2. Um, but either way, I love using this team. This team was probably the very first team that I like completely built and that I still use to this day. I remember the old team, which was like regular Emerald Green Lantern, Predator Batman, and Doctor Fate. That's the OG team right there. But overall, over the time, that team kind of died out. People started finding better teams to fight with. And this team, I've probably had it for like, I don't know, a year and a half. Ever since Power Girl came out, or ever since Powered Super, whatever her name is. I think it's Power Girl. Yeah, Power Girl. Ever since she came out, this team has just been a staple, and this is one of my most diverse teams because because of Predator Batman Special One and because of Aquaman Special Two. Now, I don't think I have to explain this team as much as my last team because I think everybody knows at this point that the multiverse team is one of the best teams in the game because of their diversity. Not only do they have so many characters, all of those characters have so many most of them have a lot of passives and they all have different passives. So that's insane. And when you have someone like Armored Supergirl who not only does she have passives, but every special ability basically has like two extra passives to them. Uh, it's like you can use her against anybody and it'll kill anyone. This is one of those teams where I I want to say that this is one of those teams where I have two characters that are support characters and one character that's an OP character. Um, the Flash is an OP character, but sometimes with crit resistance and stuff like that, it can nerf the Flash a little bit. But with Armored Supergirl, there's no getting away from it. She's gonna crit you. She's gonna kill you. All right. She's gonna KK you, crit you and kill you. That's it. Oh wait, crit is with a C. She's gonna you. You're gonna crit you and then kill you. All right. You're dead. With the Flash, she does more crit damage. She has a higher crit chance. With regular multiverse Supergirl, she has a high defense stat. Even if you don't put defense on Armored Supergirl. So it's like all these two characters add damage and add health to Armored Supergirl, and on top of that, you can add more damage with talents and gear talents for Armored Supergirl. So she's just OP. She's just OP. She's gonna kill you, man. I don't fear anybody, not even Darkseid, which is like twice as big as her. I don't fear anybody as much as I do Armored Supergirl because her special one is nuts. I think mine can do like 50k. And with the multiverse team, when you start up the match, she has enough power to use her special one, so she could just kill you without even flinching in the first 5 seconds of the match. But yeah, multiverse team, great. If you don't have a multiverse team, you're doing something wrong. All right, you're doing something wrong. You need a multiverse team. Now, for some people, this team is outdated. This is one of the oldest teams. This is one of the oldest tricks in the books. The the Justice League team. Personally, I don't get it. This team has been working for me just fine ever since the team came out. And some people are like, it doesn't do enough damage, But they're just looking at it in the raids perspective. I still use this team in raids. I just don't expect them to do, 5 million damage or anything. But I do use them in raids. And I definitely use them in arena because I don't need for them to do 5 million damage in arena. I need them to kill my opponent in arena. And they do exactly that. This team isn't necessarily diverse, and health isn't really something that I've ever put in my mind for this team. Like even with Aquaman or the Flash, which I don't really use them that much, I never really put any health onto them, just because they don't need it. They'll just kill you. The 300% basic attack bonus is nuts. You're not. It's very rare. Sorry, it's very rare for teams to be able to withstand that, unless it's like a legendary team or a Nightmare Batman. But even then, man, I don't know. It's just this team is just so good. I don't understand the hate toward this. I feel like so many people just look at the raids perspective, and in that sense, I do get it to an extent. But in arena perspective, I still love this team. It's just awesome. They're not as diverse either as the multiverse team, but I don't care about diversity if you're just OP. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need you to be diverse if you're already good. If you're good, that's it. That's all I need. All I need to go. But yeah, anyways, I think if I'm not sure if you can actually get these characters anymore through the arena because we have so many characters in arena. It will take you forever to rotate to the Justice League team. But if you did build it and you stopped building it because you like, or if you do have them and you stop building them because people were like, they're kind of trash in raids, don't listen to them. That's just stupid. That's in arena, they're awesome. The Lantern team is probably one of the most fun teams I've ever built, I've ever seen, and I've ever played with. It's just so awesome. They're not OP, all right? I'm not gonna use these guys in raids. they're not gonna do, they're probably gonna do what, 2 million damage or something. But in arena and just watching these characters, it is so much fun. I love it, and the reason why I love it is because of the two support characters. So this is one of those teams where I have two support characters and one OP character. Green Lantern, Emerald Green Lantern, and Atrocitus, their abilities stack on each other. And basically, long story short, they give you bonuses every single time that they tag in. So I think with Emerald Green Lantern, it gives you like lethal attack chance, crit damage, and power. And then with Atrocitus, it gives you stun. Or sorry, Emerald Green Lantern gives you stun, crit damage, and power. And Atrocitus gives you stealing power, lethal chance, and a reflective shield. The reflective shield is really OP, but even if it wasn't there, I'd still use this team because this team generates so much power so quickly. Every time you tag in, you get that power bar bonus, right? But if the power passive of Emerald Green Lantern and the power passive of Atrocity stack on each other, you can get like 5 bars in just one tag in. That is so cool. I love it. I love it. And if you don't get those two, you'll probably either get a defensive thing, which is like the stun and the reflective. And if you don't get that, you'll get an attack thing, which is the lethal and the crit damage. So you basically win every single time you tag in. And if you think about it, you can tag characters in every like 5 seconds or something like that. So if you do manage to get lucky enough to get those two power passives activate at the same time twice, that means that you can generate a whole power bar in like in 5 seconds because you have to start off and then you just have to wait for the next tag in, which is 5 seconds. So just in 5 seconds, you can get those ten bars, which is crazy, man. In a way, I see these two characters together as a buff Doctor Fate or a buff Powered Girl because not only do they do that, but they give you a lot of extra things on the side. And their passives aren't that great. I'm sorry, their abilities aren't that great, but aside from that, their passives are amazing. Now, the main damage dealer here is John Stewart Green Lantern. I love this character. This character was one of those characters where I felt like I was going to regret building him, but I don't regret a thing. And his special 2 is the main reason why. I love his special 2. First of all, it looks cool. All right, this whole team is just cool. Okay, I'm gonna get that out of the way. Even if they're bad, even if you gave me like a sheet that told me why this team was bad and why I should build this other team, I don't care. This team is cool. All right, it shoots an an assault rifle. I think it's an M4 or M16. His special 2 shoots a gun. That is freaking cool. All right. His special 3 has a mace. He has a mace. Who does that? that's really cool. His special 3 can also do a lot of damage in raids. I've seen it before. I think Jigsaw. Jigsaw was the first guy who I saw. Jigsaw is another YouTuber. I think he was the first one who I saw really using John Stewart Green Lantern as a damage dealer on raids, which was pretty cool. But even if he wasn't good in raids, I wouldn't care. I love his special too. His passives, to be honest, I don't even know his passive. I just know that he's good with his special too. He adds 100% team hazard and dot damage. Minus 50% hazard and hazard dot damage. I guess that's why people use him in raid in P3 because of the floor hazards. Immune to hazards, secondary effects. I do know that. I do know he's immune to power drain, which is pretty cool. And he adds a 20 attack team for Green Lantern teammates. I don't think that goes with Atrocitus. I'm not entirely sure, but it does go over to Emerald Green Lantern. But yeah, anyways, this team is just, it's a fun team, man. I don't know. I just, something about, why is my dog going off? He's like, no one out there. If you guys can hear it, I'm sorry. I only have a little bit of time to record, so like I need to do it now. So even if the dog's there, I can't really do anything about him. Sorry. Um, but yeah, this team is just super fun. It's like something about like stacking awesome things together just makes it more awesome. I don't know, man. I don't really know how to word it. If you don't have this team, don't worry about it. Like don't listen to me. I'm stupid. All right, don't. It's just awesome for me. Now this team is really just a collective of 3 characters that are good. So it just it makes a great team. Um, I think that just because you have 3 good characters doesn't necessarily mean you have a good team, but in this case, it does. Why? Because all 3 of these characters work together. All right. With Shazam, it makes King Aquaman OP. With Nightwing, it generates power for everybody. It generates the power bar when he blocks. Also with Shazam, he can generate health. So in that instance, Nightwing and Shazam work together. Even though Shazam does his passive doesn't help Nightwing, Nightwing's passive can help Shazam's abilities, which can heal the team. So in that instance, those two characters work together. Now, obviously, with Aquaman, I don't really have to say too much about him. He's just an OP monster. All right. So building up the special, giving him attack, it just works on Aquaman. Both of those things make him even more OP. On top of that, with Nightwing's ability, when Aquaman dies, the chances that you have more power on the power bar is higher, which means that when you die, he's probably going to come back with more health, right? Nightwing also has this thing where he can power drain the enemy, but I don't really use that too often because this team is more of what I like to call an OG build. In other words, I have one tank, I have one damage dealer, and I have one support character. But this is one of those rare instances where those three things really do work together. Nowadays, you kind of just have OP character, and OP character. But in this instance, you just have a nice, reliable working system with these three characters. I really do enjoy that. And I'm not gonna say it wouldn't work without Aquaman. I think you do need a might hero in there or a arcane hero just to take advantage of Shazam's ability, or sorry, passive. But you can probably insert just anybody who is an arcane or a might hero in there instead of Aquaman, and it would still work great. Just as long as they do a little bit more damage than the other two characters, which are Nightwing and Shazam. But yeah, this team it works great. I don't regret building this team. I in fact I wish I had more gear material to build up Shazam because my Shazam is pretty weak. But aside from that, I love this team. I believe this team is called the League of Anarchy team. I'm not entirely sure though. But anyways, this is one of those teams where I think everybody has at this point, just because of the dot damage. Uh, the dot damage is crazy in this team because basic attacks deal dot damage. Kind of reminds me of Injustice One, where Catwoman would deal her special one and it would stack. It would like do more damage with her basic abilities. That's kind of what this team does, except better. Because you don't have to do a special one. You just have to hit them. You just have to hit the enemy. And it'll activate the dot damage. So that's really cool. Now, the way I've built this team, because like I said, I don't have a lot of gear material. So I have to make certain exceptions at certain times. This team had to be one of those exceptions. I don't have enough gear material to build up every single character in every single team. So sometimes I'll just leave him as a support character and that's it. With Poison Ivy, I had to make the exception with her because the reason why is just I didn't have enough material to build her and the Joker. So I built the Joker to do massive amounts of damage. And that's fine. But normally in Arena, you want a character to do a lot of damage. If you want a character to do a lot of damage, then you need another character to counter that. You need another character that can take a lot of damage. And Poison Ivy doesn't do that, which is why I normally just use this team on raids. In raids, all I need for Poison Ivy to do, I need her to just do a lot of damage or enough damage to heal up my Joker. So, that's all I really built her to do. I didn't really build her to take any sort of nuke or anything. So that's why I don't really use this team too much in Arena, because if she dies, the Joker is basically useless and Harley Quinn is basically useless. But I don't regret building that team. Now, my Black Adam team is probably my weakest team of all, just because none of the support characters are really built up to health or attack, and my Black Adam, well, Black Adam nowadays, you really have to take a giant risk using him because a special one might not trigger the passive where it takes off more power to use a special three. And if that happens, you could spam your special three, and that'll be awesome. But if it doesn't activate, well then, too bad. You're gonna lose. So that's why I don't really use this team too much. Haven't really built them up that much either. This is when I really started to get low on gear material. So I just had to take the chance and just build Black Adam, just on his own, and then just have the support characters there. And that's really risky because Black Adam needs to be able to take hits, and he also needs to be able to give hits. And a special three can do that if it works. And like half the time it doesn't work. So you have to take a big risk using this team. And that same thing transitions over to raids, because in raids you have to take the exact same risk. And even though he could do like 3 million damage or whatever, that's great and all until he can't. Until Brainiac hits that special two, and you're just dead within seconds. So yeah, this team is just like it's there, and it's okay, but I don't use it too much. So in the end, it turns out I have seven teams that I've built that I go through an arena. Right now, this is the Batman Ninja team, which I'm really trying to build. All I need is Gorilla Grodd and a couple more shards of Catwoman, which I should be getting at the end of the next 2 days, and then I'll be set to go. Once I do that, I've also seen people using them in raids. I saw one with horrific Scarecrow, and they have Catwoman and they have what's his name, Gorilla Grodd, and then they use Batman Ninja Robin as their damage dealer. And I've also seen in other raids where they have Catwoman as their damage dealer. In this instance, I'm probably gonna build her to be the damage dealer just because I have more shards of her. But either way, I don't care if it's Batman Ninja Robin or Catwoman, just as long as they get the job done. But right now, all I need is legendary Gorilla Grodd, and that's not easy to come by. So that's why I don't really count this team as a team yet, just because I don't have him. But once I do get him, you better believe I'm going to start building this team up, and hopefully they can do tons of damage on raids, and hopefully they do good in arena. Now, I tell you guys characters that I've built that I've regret building, and some characters that I'm building right now. And I'm also building right now Reverse Flash, wherever he is right there. I'm trying to build him up. I'm trying to build Warrior Queen Wonder Woman. I think I like her better than Mythic Woman in a way. I don't know why. I just do. I think it's because I don't need like Justice League Cyborg to be there. But I don't know. I think her special one does a lot of damage. I'm trying to build Silver Banshee. Let's see one character that I regret building. I'm trying to find one. I don't know. Normally I'm pretty smart before I waste my gear material on a character. That's one thing that you do get when you're not paying for stuff. You kind of build a sixth sense, and you try to see who you should be building instead of who people tell you to be building. Who Red Hood, for example, I saw a lot of people building him, and I just like his passive is the same now, but people were building him just out of stupidity because he looks cool, but he's not good. So that's one of those things where I kind of am glad I didn't spend anything on him. Starfire would be a cool character to build. I think her ability is pretty cool. Hellboy, I've seen people build him. I'm not entirely convinced. For P3, I'm convinced, but other than that, yeah, I don't really. I don't know. He's not really. He's not on my radar. Grid is kind of on my radar because he is a very good defensive character, but I hate playing defensively. I prefer aggressive characters like Armored Supergirl. I think that's or sorry, Multiverse Armored Supergirl. I think I that's just my game style. I want to I want to build up Blue Beetle. I don't know why, I just do. He has a lot of like little passives that go along in there with his special abilities as well, and I think it's just a cool character to have. But realistically, I don't think I ever will, just because he's not up there with damage or up there with health. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Mythic Wonder Woman, I built her a long time ago to 20 gear to I think level 20 gears. Let's check if I still have them. Yeah, okay. Now my gears are a lot higher, which is exactly my point. One of the reasons why I regret building her is because not only do I not like her anymore, like I don't really use her, or do I think she's any good, I also got every single gear from raids. So all that gear material I spent on leveling her up basically went to the trash because I got all of it for free through raids. Mm, Dark Supergirl, she's cool. I wouldn't really have anything against her, other than the fact that I don't think she's really kept up to well. I don't think she does a lot of damage as she used to, because she does the same amount of damage, but nowadays the bar is set even higher. That the amount of damage she does, in my opinion, just doesn't really justify building her. I'm trying to find some Armored Superman. Armored Superman is, in my opinion, the most overrated character in the game. I don't like this guy. This guy can take one. Hold up. This is passive. People go nuts over his passive. And it is so useless. He takes one special. A special one, a special two, a special three. It doesn't matter. He can take the hit from one of them and not, lose any health from that. That is, it works once. And that's it. it's not really exciting. In Injustice One, this is gonna sound funny, but in Injustice One, there is a Superman called Injustice Two Superman, and he has the exact same ability, except it resets every single time he tags in. That's good. This guy is trash because after that, after someone uses their special one, what do you do then? He can't do a lot of damage. He has a lot of health, but it doesn't matter because you're not gonna do anything to the enemy team. They're just gonna chip away at you. So yeah, I don't know. He's kind of pointless. I don't know why people build him. I have his gears from raids, but yeah, I'm not building this guy. This guy I don't like him. I don't like how he's overrated, and I just don't like him overall. I need to build Heartbreaker Harley Quinn. She does insane amounts of basic attack damage. Why it's beyond me. I don't know. Like her teammates are already OP, and she's just even more OP. Not only that, but she actually is more of a Flash than the Flash is, because she has more fast attack hits than a Flash. A Flash has like, or I think a Flash has equal amounts, so three fast attack. So she's equivalent to a Flash, which is just weird because the Flash should have more hits than her, but she has the exact same amounts. I don't know. Either way, I want to build her one day. Hopefully, I I'm kind of against building gear nowadays because you can just get it all through raids. So I don't know. I need to be like extra careful when I spend my gear material. Nightmare Batman, definitely one of those characters. Really good defensive character. I really like him. I need to build him. Yeah. Batman Ninja Robin. I have four of his gears pretty high from raids. I need that one extra piece, which is the boot. I'm not worried about that now. At least not until I get more shards of him, because I'm not even gonna build him right now. Not until, like I said, I get more shards. Same with Catwoman. I already went over those two characters though. Aside from that, I'm trying to see another character I regret building. I'm trying to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really. I guess powered Supergirl, because nowadays I did build powered Supergirl, and just like I forgot what character I mentioned. Just like that. Oh, Mythic Wonder Woman. Her gear material went to waste because I got all of her gears through the raids. So, and with the crit resistance nowadays, her passive is just like it's not even there. Ace Green Arrow. I think he's a really cool character. I don't think I'd build him though. I am trying to build classic Superman just because of his special three. It's pretty cool, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to him. I think they're releasing too many characters out for me to catch up. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave him. Bane. Bane is a cool support character, so I don't build support characters that often. Aside from that, yeah, I don't really regret a lot of things because, like I said, I don't just spend my gear material on a character that looks cool or whatever. If he looks cool and he's pretty functional and I think he's kind of fun, then I'll do it. But that's super rare. Green Lantern is like the only character that I could think of that I've done that, and I did get lucky because he can do good amounts of damage in every area. In terms of legendary characters, I don't really like legendary characters just because you need to spend so much gems just to get them, and the chance to get them is so small, and you need to get them like two or three times before you can max them out. Probably Gorilla Grodd is the only character I want to get, just because every single time he hits you, he generates power. I think that's pretty cool. That's like the negative version of Nightwing because Nightwing has to block to get power, whereas Gorilla Grodd has to hit to get power. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, other than that, I don't really care about Black Manta, Brainiac, Darkseid, Arkham Knight, Batman. Yeah, I don't really care. Suicide Harley Quinn, you have to pay for her, so no way. That's not happening. I'm not paying for it. Captain Cold, I can't believe I still don't have this character. He's been out for so long and I haven't even had him. I don't even have him, so that's weird. But yeah. Okay, let's just try to find one more character that I want to build. One more character. Mm, I think I know this is gonna sound weird, but I think Blade Master Robin. Just because of the combo meter. Just because he could build up some pretty cool combo meters. But I guess Speed for the Flash would be a good alternative. Um, I don't know. The AI is so crazy that nowadays you can't do that glitch where you could do like, um, what's it called when you don't lose any health? He goes flawless or something. Because Speed Force the Flash basically avoids any type of hit whenever he rushes in or something. So back in the day, you could just keep hitting the enemy an infinite amount of times without them hitting you back, just by exploiting that passive. But nowadays, you can't do that anymore. Yeah, that's about it. Uh, Yeah, that's it. That's it. I guess Batwoman, but I think for her passives to really work, you need to spend so much time building up to them. So nah, it's not worth it for me. But yeah, anyways, that's the 10 million roster threat team. I'll just go over through the stats really quickly. I'm sure some of you want to see that. They're pretty garbage because I don't have um, talents. Is one thing I don't do like these talents. I I I have no character, nothing. No character is maxed out in terms of talents. Just because it takes so much credits, and I'm always busy putting my credits somewhere else. So yeah, that's unfortunate. That means I can't build up my teams to do as much damage as I wish it would. But maybe one day I'll catch up, or one day I'll actually start paying attention. All right, those are those. Here, let me see other characters that are important. Because I know that just because Black Adam, I think I already showed that. Let me see. Just because some of these characters are down or more down on the list doesn't mean they're less important. I think a lot of these characters are super important, especially what's it called support characters. Support characters are super important. Who else? Aquaman, I guess. These characters, yeah, some of these characters they don't have good stats. Most of these characters don't have good stats, and that's like one common misconception that yeah, you could spend a lot of money on the game and you'll do a crap ton of damage on raids. But the fact is that if you just join a normal raid and you get to top four or top five, you're gonna get the same rewards. And in arena, you don't need all that damage. So even if a character isn't maxed out, that doesn't mean he's useless or anything. Most of the time, maxed out characters are just overkills. They're just they're so that you can get those nice looking high damage raids. But aside from that, they're useless in every other instance, right? Like I've seen some leagues where the number one guy does like let's say 20 million damage, and then the number two guy does like 4 million damage. It's like what's the point? All you got to do is get 5 million damage to get to first place. Why would you overkill it or spend your money to get all the way to 20 million damage? Right? It doesn't make any sense. I try to stay away from that. And on top of that, it's like a really weird, I guess you could call it investment into buying these characters because a lot of these characters change throughout the years, right? Most of them change in a good way, but imagine if like one of these characters gets like super nerfed or something from when you bought them. I would be really mad because that means that I didn't pay for what I bought. I didn't pay for that character. I paid for the crappy version of that character, which is again not where I put my money. But either way, that's the whole lot of characters. I know the video's long because well, I need to show all these characters and explain why I have all these characters. I didn't show any fights just because the fights would make it last even longer. It lasts like if every fight lasted what made it, it would be like 8 minutes longer. So that'd be bad.